the airlock doors opened and she walked in, time froze. Skin like silver moonlight, eyes that glowed crimson, and fangs sharp enough to end a man's heartbeat in a single kiss. The crew whispered, "She drinks plasma, human plasma." But when she turned her head and looked straight at me, I panicked. My brain betrayed me. And before I could stop myself, I blurted out, "You have a nice ass." Silence. Then what she did next made every soldier on that ship question what it really meant to be human. If you love stories where humans prove that we're the galaxy's most unpredictable, hilarious, and dangerous species, you're in the right place. Go ahead, hit that like, tap subscribe, and share this with someone who needs a laugh, a thrill, or both. Because trust me, what happens next isn't just funny, it's legendary. The ship smelled like ozone and nerves. You could almost taste the tension in the recycled air. Every crew member on the horizon had been ordered to stand in perfect formation, uniforms pressed, spines straight, faces calm. But inside, every heart was pounding like a faulty reactor core. Why? Because today wasn't just another diplomatic exchange. Today, humanity was meeting the Erythrians, a race of pale-skinned, blood-drinking, plasma-dependent beings who made most aliens nervous, and most humans curious. Now, here's the thing. Humans had survived wars, extinction events, and even the Great Collapse. We'd built ships that outran gravity itself, but somehow, nothing prepared us for her. She stepped through the docking corridor like a shadow wrapped in starlight. Her eyes glowed a deep, burning crimson. Her voice, when she spoke, carried that haunting calm you hear from someone who could kill you in 3 heartbeats, but chooses not to. "I am Lysara of House Thren," she said, bowing slightly. "I come to know humanity, and its flavors. Flavors, not cultures, not values. Flavors." The captain gave a polite, diplomatic smile. I, meanwhile, the lowest-ranked systems engineer on deck, was doing my best not to pass out. My palms were sweating like the walls of an overheated cryo chamber. And that's when it happened. She looked at me. Not at the captain. Not at the diplomats. Me. It was like being scanned by a god made of hunger and moonlight. Her crimson eyes flickered across my face, then lower. I swear my entire nervous system rebooted. "Human," she said softly. "Why do your hearts race so fast?" And like an idiot, my brain panicked. You know that feeling when you're so nervous your thoughts crash into each other and your mouth acts on its own? Yeah, that happened. Before I could even think, my mouth blurted it out. You have a nice ass." Time stopped. Every officer in the hangar went dead silent. You could have heard a microchip fall. The captain looked like he was about to faint. Even the ship's AI paused its ambient hum, like it couldn't believe what I'd just said. And Lysara just stared. Her crimson eyes blinked once, then again, and then she smiled. It wasn't the kind of smile that said, "How cute." It was the kind that said, "I'm deciding whether to bite your head off or laugh first." She took one slow step toward me. The air seemed to freeze around her, temperature sensors flickering like crazy. "Repeat that," she whispered, her voice like silk wrapped around steel. I wanted to die. But my brain, still riding on raw panic, went, "Sure, let's make it worse." "I said you have a nice ass?" And that's when the entire crew flinched. But instead of anger, something unexpected happened. She laughed. Not a quiet, ladylike chuckle. A deep, full-bodied musical laugh that echoed through the hangar like wind through crystal. Even the captain froze, half smiling, half horrified. Lysara covered her mouth and said, "Humans, you greet death with compliments. Fascinating." Her laughter faded, replaced by a curious expression, like she was studying a strange new creature she didn't quite understand. "Do you always speak without fear?" she asked. And for the first time I found a bit of courage buried somewhere under my humiliation. So I shrugged. "No, just when I'm terrified." She tilted her head, her fangs glinting under the lights. Terror makes you honest, I like that. And then, she leaned closer, so close that I could feel the chill of her breath against my skin. Tell me, human, does honesty taste better than blood? The words made my skin crawl and my heart thump louder than the ship's reactor. I wanted to answer, but all I could think about was how beautiful and dangerous she looked. Before I could say anything, she smiled again. Not cruelly this time, but almost playfully. You may speak freely, engineer. I find you amusing. And just like that, the tension snapped. The rest of the crew exhaled like they'd been holding their breath for minutes. The captain shot me a death glare that could melt steel, but Lysara waved him off. No punishment, she said. Let him be. His words were human. The way she said that word, human, it didn't sound like an insult. It sounded like curiosity, like maybe, for the first time in her long, immortal existence, something about us had surprised her. As she walked away, her cloak trailing behind like liquid night, she paused and looked over her shoulder. Her red eyes glimmered and she said almost teasingly, Engineer, perhaps I'll let you see if your compliment was accurate. The hangar erupted with murmurs, laughter, disbelief, and me. I was just standing there, half mortified, half proud. The man who'd just flirted with an alien vampire queen, and somehow lived to tell about it. For 3 days the ship buzzed with one rumor. The human who complimented the vampire. Everywhere I went people whispered. Some laughed, others saluted me like I'd fought a war. The captain, though, wasn't laughing. I spent half my shifts recalibrating plasma relays while pretending not to die of embarrassment. Lysara, the alien vampire woman, she hadn't spoken to anyone since that moment. Not to the diplomats, not to the AI translators, not even to the captain. Except, she kept showing up. When I worked in engineering, she'd stand at the edge of the deck, silent, watching. When I ate in the mess hall, she'd pass by, slow, graceful, her red eyes flicking toward me before moving on. It wasn't threatening. It was curious, like she was studying something she couldn't quite explain. And honestly, that scared me more than the fangs. The 4th night, I couldn't sleep. I wandered into the observation deck, a dome of glass overlooking a swirl of blue nebulae and starlight. The air was quiet, except for the hum of the ship's reactors. That's when I heard her voice behind me. You watch the stars as if they might talk back. I froze. Of course it was her. She stepped out of the shadows, silver hair catching the faint light of distant suns. No guards, no ceremony. Just Lysara, alone. They remind me I'm small, I said, and that's okay. She tilted her head. You fear insignificance? No. I fear not learning anything before I die. That made her pause. For the first time, her expression softened. Less predator, more philosopher. Erythrians live for thousands of years, she said quietly. We stop fearing long before your species even begins to crawl. She moved closer, her presence magnetic. But you, humans, you rush. You love, you laugh, you break things, all before the 1st century ends. You are chaos made flesh. I smiled weakly. We call it passion. She smiled back. We call it insanity. For a long moment we stood there, alien and human, just watching the stars breathe. Then she said something that made my chest tighten. Tell me, human, when you complimented me, what did you hope to achieve? I laughed nervously. Honestly, survival instinct. My brain short-circuited. And yet, she said softly, you survived. She circled me slowly, graceful as a comet. Among my kind, fear means respect. But you made humor out of terror. Do you not fear death? I took a breath. Everyone fears death. We just don't let it stop us from living. That is when she stopped behind me, so close I could feel her cold hand graze my neck. May I test that? The air went still. I turned slightly, meeting those red eyes that looked less like blood and more like living fire. Define test, I said. She smiled. Slow, dangerous. I wished to know what courage tastes like. Before I could respond, she leaned forward, her fangs grazing my skin. just enough to draw a single bead of blood. My heartbeat spiked. Every nerve screamed. But I didn't flinch. Her lips brushed my neck, and then she pulled back, her expression unreadable. "You didn't move," she said. "You said it was a test," I managed. Figured I'd fail if I ran. For a second, silence filled the deck. Then, she laughed again. That same deep, echoing laugh that made the air feel alive. "Humans," she said softly, "you are terrifying." Later, she told the captain that her study of human emotional resilience was complete. She'd learned something valuable, that fear and humor can exist together, that mortals can teach immortals what it means to live. Before departing, she left a single note in my workstation. A handwritten one, delicate, elegant, and sealed in a drop of crimson wax. It read, "Engineer, your honesty was delicious. Never lose that. Lysara." When her ship detached and vanished into the void, I couldn't help but smile. Somewhere out there, an ancient vampire species had just learned a lesson humans carried instinctively. We're fragile, foolish, and fearless, all at once. And maybe that's why the universe keeps underestimating us. Because in the face of gods, monsters, and fanged diplomats, humanity doesn't bow. We grin, we panic, we compliment their ass. And somehow we win. If you're still here, my friend, you just witnessed another reason why humans are absolute legends in the galaxy. We're the species that laughs in fear, makes jokes to survive, and turns interstellar politics into romantic comedy. So if that made you smile, hit that like button. It helps this story reach more HFY fans like you. And don't forget to subscribe for more tales where humanity stands proud, unbroken, and just a little bit insane. Tell me in the comments, what would you have said to Lysara in that moment? Because honestly, "You have a nice ass" might have been the best diplomatic move in human history.